Hello and welcome, everybody. Sorry for the delay there. I am super excited. I have the Not Too Shabby Shop stamp of the month, and welcome to folks who are already in the chat. So I saw that Elisa is here. Welcome, my friend. She is joining from Huntsville, Alabama. T is here. Welcome, T. And thank you, T, for joining my channel as a member. So thanks for the support, my friend. I really appreciate it. Stacy has joined us as well. Hi, Stacy. Welcome. And you're already making me hungry, T, with the talk of Domino's pizza and their hot marbled cookies. So sounds delicious. Welcome, Cindy. Hello, my friend. I should be streaming right now to not just my channel, but as well to the Not Too Shabby Shop Facebook group. So I do see somebody from Facebook has commented. Hello, welcome. Your name shows as Facebook user only because StreamYard does not yet have permissions to see your name. So unless you give StreamYard explicit permissions, I won't be able to see your name, but I can still see your chat. So if you are watching from Facebook, do chat away, and I will see your comments. I just may not necessarily know who they're coming from, so I apologize in advance for that. Okay, so as folks are coming in, let me tell you a little bit about what I'll be crafting with today. So I mentioned in front of me the stamp of the month, and yes, welcome Meg and welcome Candace. Meg says yummy pancakes. Oh, hi Blossom, welcome my friend. Give them your firstborn. Oh, who are we giving our firstborn? Oh, Papa John's won't deliver. Okay, we're already on the food talk, which is appropriate considering what I'll be crafting with today. So this is the December stamp of the month, and it's called Life's a Batter with Pancakes, which you do get that as a sentiment too, and that's the name of the stamp set. This is gorgeous, colored up. There's some bacon, there's extra strawberries and blueberry that you can add, or just add for more dimension if you want. So I think that's really cool. And you can sign up to get the stamp of the month each month as a subscription. Your options are to get the stamp by itself, or you can get it with the coordinating dies. And what's cool is that with the coordinating dies, you do get that magnetic sheet, storage sheet. So that's really awesome. And as well, there are dies to cut out. These look like really funny outlines. Those will actually cut out all of the sentiments. So that's really cool. And well, yay. Okay, so Jamie's on. Welcome, Jamie. And oh, this is Brenda. Hi, Brenda. Sorry, I thought I had. Oh yeah, I don't know. I think you only need to do it the one time for each group that you want to watch from. So if you've done it before, I'm not so sure why it didn't remember, but the URL, I think, to give StreamYard permissions, I think is streamyard.com/Facebook. I'm not 100% sure. I'm so sorry. I should have that memorized, but I don't. Yvette, welcome, my friend. Yvette says yummy bacon. I've crafted a lot with this set, and I have mostly been focused on bacon. I don't know if folks saw the video that I posted today, but it was all about the bacon. So I thought that for the live stream, I would actually focus on the pancakes for a change. So that's what I'm going to be crafting with. Um, oh, Blossom says, I'm being lazy today, not gonna cook dinner. I sent the husband to Jax right before popping in. What's Jax? Is that Jack in the Box, or is that the name? Oh, hi, Susan. Welcome, my friend. Thanks for joining. Okay, so just I think it was today, earlier today, or was it yesterday? I think it was today, right? I posted this card. This is what we're going to be making. Oh, not Jack. Not Jack in the Box. Yeah, wasn't there some controversy over them? Okay, so this we're gonna make today. I do have a video tutorial that I'll post later. So for folks who are watching, if you don't want to craft along, don't worry. Not only is this live stream going to be available on replay, so you can kind of catch up on the conversation, but if all you're looking for is just like a very straightforward tutorial, I did film myself and create a tutorial where I made this card. But we're going to make the exact same thing today. So this is a simple slider. It says slide, and then you can do that. So you can turn an already pretty big stack, an already pretty big stack of pancakes into an even bigger stack of pancakes. So I just love this stamp set, and I kind of supersized everything every time I've crafted with it, because my first card, which was my hop card, I just really piled on the bacon, so I went kind of overboard. I turned this into a short stack of pancakes and then, like, added a tower of bacon, and then my second card, which I posted the tutorial for this morning to my channel, is, like, all about bacon, and today we're all about pancakes, and we're making this super, easy slider to turn your, big stack of pancakes into an even bigger stack of pancakes. So that is, what we're gonna be up to today. So, before we get going, if I could ask everybody the favor of hitting that like button and maybe hitting the share button if you are on social media, and that way folks can find us and hopefully join us in time to craft along. And if you are crafting along with me, I did not put any cutting guides or anything in the event page in advance. So I apologize for that. But if you do want to craft along, just let me know that you're crafting along with me, and I'll definitely kind of go slow. And if you need me to just pause for a moment, let me know in the chat. So, wait, did you use the pancake stack? Susan says, did you use the pancake stack as bacon? Because I could totally see that. So there's like this individual stamp with 2 strips of bacon, and I just colored up a bunch of them, like a bunch. And because everything has coordinating dyes, I die cut them, and then it was almost as if it was raining down bacon onto my plate. Um, you don't have enough hours for me to craft along with you. Aw, Susan. This is pretty easy though. Oh, thanks T for sharing out to your group. I appreciate it, my friend. Um, let's see. So, aw, thanks Blossom. She already liked and shared when she came in. So sweet. Thank you, everybody. Um, Blossom says, I'm crafting, but something else. uh, Oh, yeah. Well, that is the thing. Actually, it's not super quick if you haven't already colored. That's a good point. That's a very good point. So it will be a little bit tough to get this card done with the coloring, especially for me because I am so slow at coloring. But I will still give you the dimensions and show you how to make this really cool slider. And the thing is, the slider, you don't need any special dies or anything. So it's definitely something that you can do, and you can use the mechanism on any kind of card for any style of pop-up, whatever it is you want to sort of slide up and down. So the general technique is gonna be very universal, very usable, and I did already pre-color, so, and I have my pieces ready too. So I am cheating. You'll need 2 of, in this case, the way that I've done this is that the piece behind, the piece that's moving, it's going to be a continuation or an extension of the image in front of it. And the reality is that you don't actually need to color it up as much as I've done here. I was coloring, and sometimes when I color, I just keep going, and I lost track of what I was doing and what it was for. So, this piece that's partially colored, this is gonna be the piece in the front, and this is gonna be the piece that's from behind, and if you notice the piece up front, I'm gonna cut that. So, that's gonna get cut. And so really if you're doing this later or if you're doing it along with me now, you only need to color as much as of the one that's behind that will actually show up. And in this case, I could have stopped like right around there because you're not going to see any of this. And we're going to have to cut some of this off, in fact. And then with the version that's up front on the front piece here, it's actually cut here. Let me do this. So that's that's the piece in front. So that is going to be this piece here. So I'm gonna cut this to match that. So, oh, welcome, Sarah. Hello, my friend. Thanks for joining. So since I do have stuff colored, I am I love that. I'll let everybody read that. Okay, let's get this snipped. So, I'm gonna just follow what I have here. So I cut that. I basically cut the first pancake off and all of the toppings. So I'll go ahead and do that now. I hope everybody's day is going well today. It takes me a while to fussy cut, folks, so bear with. And it doesn't have to necessarily be exact, but I am trying to keep the black line. But if you want, you can kind of always ink the edge after you've cut it I didn't do that on my first one. Maybe I'll do it on this one though. But you can always ink that edge just so that it takes off the white. And then it's a little bit less obvious. It makes it a little bit less obvious that this has been cut. And the illusion is gonna be a little bit more passable. So I'm just gonna take a Sharpie and do that. So I'm gonna take a Sharpie to this edge. All right. So that's gonna go right over that. See how that lines up? And oh, hi, Lala. Welcome, my friend. I always forget what time it is over there. But thank you for joining. Yes, we have stacks and stacks of pancakes. Oh, fun. I had a day of Christmas shopping and eating, with 2 of my girlfriends. How fun. Shopping and eating, I love it. Sounds like the perfect day. Throw in some crafting, and then you've got the perfect day. Okay, so the version behind, as I mentioned, it doesn't need to be colored up quite as much as I have done here, but since it's already done, here's the fully colored image in case you want to see what that looks like. But I'm gonna actually end up cutting off this down here because we as a slider mechanism, we don't need it's not gonna show, and we don't need this much of the plate. So we'll just trim that off. You don't have to be precise. I stayed on the line, but that's just me being OCD a little bit. Okay. So, oh, welcome, Linda. Hello, my friend. Now, the mechanism itself. So, the mechanism itself is fairly easy to put together if even if you've never done a slider before. It really just comes down to this little piece here. This is cut to 2 inches wide by 2 3/8 of an inch tall. And how I arrived at this is that basically we need to be able to hide this. And let me put this back. So there's a little bit of trickery here. So I chose gingham because it's really easy to to match up the pattern, but it's actually cut there. And so this slider mechanism is completely hidden behind this piece of gingham pattern paper. And basically, that determined the maximum height that I have to play with in terms of the slider mechanism piece. So if you're customizing this to another image or another design, whatever it is you've got going on your card, this can be whatever size that you can basically hide. So anything that's going to come in front of your slider mechanism, that's going to determine the maximum size of your mechanism piece. So that's how I arrived at 2 inches wide by really it's the height, 2 3/8, and I gave myself like a little bit of wiggle room, just so I don't have to be like super exact. And so that is oh, yeah. T says, "Oh, I didn't even notice." Yeah, because it's so easy to hide, it's so easy to match up gingham, right? So it was really easy to line that up. And, that's why I chose it, because if you choose, like, a different pattern that's not a repeat, it can be very hard to hide that seam. But, when things are all lined up, it's really hard to tell that everything is actually kind of disconnected, the front and the back. So that's how I arrived at this piece here. For this to get turned into a slider, we need to cut a slit or a slot out of that. So if you have one of those like little thin little dies, you can use that. If not, you can just do what I'm about to do, which is use my craft knife or well, I use a box cutter. And my cutting mat. So this little slit here, it measures 1 5/8 of an inch tall. And it doesn't have to be that wide. It can be, maybe an eighth of an inch. I think I drew this kind of wide. That looks like maybe 3/16 of an inch. And but it doesn't need to be that wide of a slit. Just enough to get some paper through it, essentially. Oh, hi, Chow. Oh, hi, Amalia. Welcome. Thanks for joining, friends. Okay, thanks, folks, for sharing this out. I see some new folks coming in, probably because you shared. So thank you so much. Okay, so we're gonna cut this, and I'll just line this up. You do want I did draw the lines just so that I can really make sure this is nice and straight, because you do want it to go straight up and down, and that way I can't see my line. Oh, there we go. And always use a really sharp blade. because then you don't have to put as much force. And if you don't have to put force, then you're more likely to be able to control your cut. And oh, that didn't make it all the way through. Okay, and then I'll connect those to complete. I'm completely removing this gray box that I shaded in. And that's going to be our slider track. It doesn't have to be neat because nobody's going to see it. Okay. Okay. So that's it. That's our slider mechanism. Okay, maybe that's not it. There's a little bit more. All right. So next, the next key components are going to be some circles. So I have punched out some 3/4 inch circles, and the 3/4 is not important really. It just depends on, sometimes if you have a narrow track, you know, maybe you want something smaller. If you have a wide track, then you can go wider. And whatever it is, whatever you have. I just conveniently have a punch that's 3/4 of an inch. So it's really convenient for me to just punch to this size. And I have 4 discs. I've got 2 that are punched out of 120-pound cover weight, which, by the way, this is 120-pound too. Looks more like coin slots. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it definitely can be. And then these would be your little coins to put through the slot. Um, okay, so what was I saying? Oh, yeah. These 3 right here are 120-pound. You want them to be nice and sturdy. So whatever heavyweight cardstock you have, use that there. And then I have 2 additional discs. These are lighter weight. So this can be your 65-pound cover weight. I wouldn't use like copy paper. So I would still use cardstock, but you can go with a lighter weight cardstock for those. And not strictly necessary, but if you want to score, you can score and then fold these 2. So I will go ahead and score this. So I'm looking to just fold the lighter weight ones, and this is why I want something that's lightweight so that it's easy to fold in half. So I'm just going to score it and then fold it in half. Both the 2 circles that I punched from lightweight cardstock. Oh, I didn't get that quite in half. Oops, I missed that line. And nobody's going to see these either, by the way. So don't worry if you missed, if you scored incorrectly as I did just now. Okay, so we have 2 of our circles in lightweight that have been scored and folded in half, 2 circles that have been cut or punched out of heavyweight cardstock. And then we can start to glue them together. So I've got one of the heavyweight discs. Going to put some liquid adhesive over the whole thing. And then with the one of the lightweight ones, fold it in half and attach just half of the circle. And then attach the second one, just half of that as well. And you can burnish. Make sure it's really firmly stuck. Give it a little bit of time to dry if you're using a liquid adhesive like I am. But when you're done, you should have something that looks like that. So heavyweight and then 2 lightweights with the little legs, kinda like a little thumbtack or like a very miniature coffee table. Okay, so then almost done, take your slider track, take your disc that you've been working on here, with these legs, kinda pinch them together so that you can slot them through the track, open that, and then we're gonna glue and then we're gonna glue the second heavyweight. This was the second one that's 120, and I'm gonna glue that to our slider here. And that will lock these discs in the slider track, but because we have those folded pieces, it can still move freely. See? And that's it. Hi, Shauna, welcome. Oh, glad you can make it. Susan says, I saw a table at first, but yes, a Brad. Yeah. I always see the mini table. But I just wonder how many people actually see it that way. Like a thumbtack, I think sometimes you may I've described it as that, but that and if you use liquid adhesive like I do, definitely move it around. Make sure you didn't get any liquid adhesive kind of oozing where it shouldn't. So I think we're good on that. And now we're ready to put the card together. It's as fast as that. So, oh, actually we have one more, I think one more cut. Did I cut this? No, I didn't. Okay. I'm doing a 4x6 card today because I just have a lot of these pre-made card bases that I'm trying to use up. So it's 4x6, but what I've done is I've cut my pattern paper to 3 and don't hate me, 3 and 13/16 of an inch. I just like 13/16. A quarter of an inch seems like too much to take off, and an eighth doesn't seem like enough. So so that's what I've done. And but I've left it at fully 6 inches. And the reason for that is, can you see here? I've got a little bit of overlap. That way, like, when I'm trying to match up the seam, there's there's gonna be no card base showing because the top layer is gonna go behind, and that's gonna make it super, seamless. I fully recognize this, T. I know I'm weird. I just like it that way. I can't help it. All right. So I'm gonna bring out my trimmer and I'll go ahead and cut. Oh, well, now I don't remember this, so I'm gonna measure it because it needs to be enough to cover. It needs to be enough to cover this, and this was, remember, 2 wide by 2 and 3/8. So I'm gonna cut 2.5 off the bottom. 2 1/2. Okay. And I think now I have all of my pieces ready. So I've got the larger piece. This is gonna get glued down. Now the order matters. The order matters with, like, as we're assembling this. So you want the top piece to go down first because that's gonna be the bottommost layer. And this front piece, I'm gonna keep this here. This front piece, that's this right here, that's gonna need to be on top. And so we'll go ahead and get, by the way, this gingham paper is also from Not Too Shabby. It's one of the, it's either summer or spring gingham. but there's been like a gingham series, and so it's one of those. So I'm gonna put this down first, just looking for an even border, top, left, right. Hi, Yvonne. Welcome. Yvonne is joining us from California. Yvette, I think, is in California too. Okay, next layer down is going to be our mechanism. And so if you look, if I aim for about the same border, see how there's like a little bit of that overlap between the two pattern papers? That's exactly what we want. And to glue our mechanism down, I'm going to use a little bit of foam on the back. It doesn't matter which side you want to be the back, but I am going to just cut this down a little bit. I have some foam scraps here. This isn't super thick. This is 2.5 millimeter. And what you're aiming for is don't get too close to your disc, because you don't want to inhibit the disc from sliding. So see, this is going to be too wide. It's going to bump into my disc there. So I'll just trim this down a bit. And that's the other consideration when you are determining the size of your slider track piece and your disc. You want to leave yourself enough room so that you can get some foam to actually adhere it to your card base. So we'll just get this down. And I do want it close enough to the slider disc so that it almost serves as a set of rails, because this could be kind of loosey-goosey, because you can see there's a lot of play, especially since my slot is actually it's pretty wide. So the wider your slot, the more you're going to have back and forth, like left to right wiggle room. But having the foam there as little guide rails will help it to actually go just straight up and down. So we have that set. Welcome, Terry. Hello, my friend. Oh, thanks for sharing, Susan. Terry says, am I too late for pancakes? You're just in time, my friend. We are, well, actually, this is such an easy mechanism. I'm almost done. I really am almost done. But this is the card, Terry. And for anyone who is joining, we're turning a big stack of pancakes, and we're supersizing it to an even larger stack of pancakes. So I did color in advance, and that's why I'm able to finish this probably pretty quickly here. Okay, so we have our mechanism. We've got foam down, and what I am aiming to do, I'm using my grid mat. It's 4 inches across. My piece is 2 inches, so it's going to center in these two. And the only trick of this is that I'm leaving a white border all the way around, so I don't want to push this all the way to the bottom, because then my mechanism will be visible. But I can't push it too far up, because then it's going to pop up over. Well, if it pops up over a little, it's actually okay, because our pancake is going to cover it. But I just don't want it to go too far up. So I think I'll aim. And if you're not sure, you can do a little bit of a dry fit test run. So this is what I did as I was designing my first one. Oh, I love this tape, by the way, folks. This is the Scotch removable tape. It's really good. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, here's what I'm going to do as a test run, just in case you're designing this, customizing it for yourself. A little bit of low tack tape to tape down the mechanism itself to the card base. Okay, so now that's secure. Then a little bit, just like a smidge of tape. Gonna roll this and put it onto my disc, and I'm gonna attach my pancakes to it, the pancakes that go behind. Okay, so now nothing is like permanent, but see how I can like test the slide? And so now I can put this here. This is the top piece of the pattern paper. I can push this all the way down to starting positions. That's going to be the default position. And I will it'll look a little something like that. And as I pull, it'll look like that. So that's a little bit of a way that you can kind of preview that everything works the way that you expect. Just use some low tack tape, and this positioning works fine. I think that's gonna nothing was visible as I was testing it. So this looks like a good spot to glue this down. So that's what I'll do. So now I can take my temporary repositionable tape off. I'll line this back up on my grid just so that I can see the 4 blocks, and then I can position this in the center again. And I made a mental note of how high to go. So okay. My foam had adhesive on one side, but not on the other. So just a couple lines of wet glue. Wet glue is good, gives you time, but just be aware to not be super generous with your wet glue, because if it oozes beyond where you want it, you do want to constantly be making sure that it doesn't gum up the works and like accidentally glue something down. Oh, what's for breakfast? Meg says glue it. I forget sometimes that I have my emojis. Okay, so there we have that. Okay, so now, so the reason why I trimmed off that little bit is so that as, oh, I should have left it. I tossed them. But see how as you pull this up, if I had left the plate would be visible as I pull this up. Um, it, well, it probably wouldn't be because it's behind this paper anyways, but that's what I was worried about. But to be honest, I don't think it would have been. I will then get this. I'm gonna glue this piece down next. And what you want to make sure of is when you're gluing your front pancakes to your pattern paper, it needs to be above the line of pattern paper, because if I had it like this and it was glued down like that, I'll show you. The bottom would be like that. If I glue my front pancakes below the top of my pattern paper, see how the pattern paper is visible? It's going to break it's gonna break the illusion. So you have to glue your front pancakes above that seam, above that line. Hi, Hildy. Hey, Debbie. Welcome. Okay. So, and just to show, see how on the one that I made previously, it's glued above. So that's what we'll do now. Go ahead and get some glue behind here. It doesn't have to run all the way to the top because part of the top needs to hang off the edge, off the top edge. And I find it helpful to glue this down and then do like a final dry run with that piece, just to make sure that it's like super lined up. When that's straight. I think that's straight. um, when I get the pancakes on there in the default position. So the default position needs to be all the way your disc all the way at the bottom. So push that all the way to the bottom, and then I'll bring on some of that low tack. So here, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to line this up so I have that nice even border at the bottom so that my checkered print repeats where it should. And wherever looks good, I'm just going to temporarily tape that down. Open that up. Get this in here. And just going to position this so that it's exactly lined up with the front image so that when this is in its sort of default state, like the bottom state, everything looks seamless, everything looks lined up perfectly. That looks about right. So that's a good dry fit. And now what I can do, I'm still holding this in place. I'm just going to make sure that I pushed my disc all the way to the bottom, and then I'm gonna glue it down now. Just put adhesive on the circular disc. Nowhere else on the track. You only need glue on that disc. And I like liquid adhesive because it's going to be a nice permanent hold, but if I'm quick about it, I can I can put this over, do another quick double check before it completely dries. If I needed to pull that off, I could, but that looks good. So this is hello and welcome. Sorry, but I can't see your name. But welcome. Thanks for joining. And I think I've given that. It's nice to use like a good strong PVA glue that has a quick grab because then we can just keep going. So that's pretty well secured. And see how it can like wiggle a little bit. But that's okay. I don't really mind that too much. Makes it easier to kind of slide up and down. All right, so then now we need to attach this to our card base. And for that, I am going to use some slightly thicker foam. And what I'll do is I'll use this. Yeah. I'll use some of this. This is about 3.5 millimeters. And I think this is wider than, yeah, this is going to be wider than what I need. Oh, that's so close. Okay, I might have to trim this a little bit. I'm gonna get a strip down this side. I'm not centered. But that's okay. Okay, about that much. This is gonna be the same thing. You want this to be close, but not so close that it inhibits the movement. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of liquid adhesive on this too. And I'm leaving a little bit of a border on the bottom, so I'm being careful not to be too close to the edges. And again, see how wobbly this can be? Once we get another bit of foam here, it's gonna also act as a little bit of a track to keep this going straight. So I'm just gonna get another strip. On this side, it's gonna be kind of close. So maybe about that much. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna give this a little bit of a trim. It's a little close. I think it might inhibit the movement of my pancakes a little bit. So, gonna trim this off a smidge. And that way we have a little bit of breathing room there. Okay, everything still moves. So anytime I put something down, glue something down, I always like to test it. Really make sure it still moves. Um Aw. I I am thrifty. Oh, thanks, Lala. Lala says, "Beautiful, Lynn. Now I wanna stack things up." Variation. Yeah, it's a really easy mechanism. The slider, you just need to cut yourself like a slot and then 4 circles, and you can make anything slide. So, of course, there's specialty dies that you can get too, but you don't really need those. And plus, this way you can make them, whatever length, whatever size you'd like. Okay, so now we're truly almost done here. I just need to get although I've been saying that for like half an hour now, right? All right, so I'm gonna get the paper liner off of this foam and then, oops. And then we'll attach, that's what's gonna get adhered to our front panel here. And I am gonna use some liquid adhesive, not only because it helps to keep it nice and permanent, but it also gives me a little bit of wiggle room in case I need to shift things around a little bit. This foam is actually pretty strong. So, that's all the way to the bottom. And let's see. I think it stacks up right about there. I think I need to look at it this way. Otherwise, I have to put my head right over, and then you'll just see my head. Okay. Think I have that about right. Okay. And just make sure, see, everything moves. And I'm gonna burnish. So the top layer is only held down by those 2 strips there. And our slider is done. Ta-da! Really easy, right? And the last couple things are our sentiment, which I already stamped and cut out. No one stacks up to you. Now, normally with an interactive card, normally I would stamp the word pool or whatever it is they're supposed to do, like on the thing that they are supposed to move. Like if it's a slider that is a more like a pull tab, I would stamp the word pool onto the pull tab. But this is more of a like an illusion kind of slider. So I didn't want to actually stamp pull on the strawberry. So what I did instead was I stamped out the word slide and hopefully whoever gets this realizes what slides. There's only so many things you can tug and pull on before something starts to move. So hopefully they get it. I couldn't bring myself to stamp on top of the strawberry because that would be where you would do it, I think. So that would be another option is to I thought I could maybe, draw or stamp a little arrow, like a little up arrow to show that, oh, it moves up or, the whole word pull, but couldn't bring myself to do any of those things. So this is what I did instead. maybe a little up. So there's that. And slide up, yeah. Thanks, everybody. Aw. Oh, I didn't see, Elisa bounced. Okay, bye, Elisa. Um, yes, that's a good suggestion, Lala. A little bit of anti-static powder, and, like, you'll know that you need to if things don't go smoothly, or if you want as just an extra little bit of precaution, especially if you are worried about glue, exposed glue. If you just put some powder, baby powder, anti-static powder, it's going to take any stickiness away. And so that's a great tip for just making sure that nothing is glued down that shouldn't be glued down. And so our last little bit here is going to be to put a little bit of, because you have to put something, because I think especially on this card, because I took a lot of pains to like really line everything up so that it looks seamless. So it may not actually be obvious at first blush that these pancakes are in two parts. So you do have to put something to let folks know, because otherwise you would have done all that work to make it slide, and they're not gonna know. They'll miss out on all the fun. So, and that's it. It's pretty easy, right? Um, so that's our card. No one stacks up to you. Little reminder, little hint that it slides, and then you can pull up. Now, of course, the syrup dripping down, it's not gonna line up 100% once you start pulling it up, but but, all things considered, I think it's pretty cute. So, that is our card for today. So, I hope that everybody gives this a go. It's a pretty easy mechanism that you don't really need anything um, too special to actually create it. So you just need to be able to make yourself one of those little slider tracks, and you can either use a die or a circle punch to punch out those discs, and that's it. So thanks everybody for hanging with me. Oh, hey Rebecca, welcome my friend. Um, Shanna says, "I actually used a tiny ribbon die that." Oh, yeah. Yes. Like, little, yeah, those little yeah, that would totally work. You'd be surprised. You can use, little, what are those, like, little sentiment strip dies? Those could work too. Lots of little dies. I bet if you guys shopped your stash, you'd probably find something that will cut out that track for you if you don't wanna do it by hand. Thanks for joining, Chell, uh, and, take care. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon or evening. Yay, Terry's gonna give this a try after I get home next week. Safe travels, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for joining. So I crafted with the stamp of the month from the Not Too Shabby Shop. This one's called Life's Batter with pancakes, lots of pancakes. And I supersize everything every time I crafted with this set. So go big or go home, right? So lots of pancakes, lots of bacon on every card that I've made with this set. You can subscribe, and if you do subscribe to get this monthly, you'll get a little bit of a discount. And there is the option to get this as the stamp by itself, or if you want, you can get it with the coordinating dies, and it does come with that magnetic sheet. So it comes separately packaged. I just like to put it together like this because that way I don't lose the dies and it all fits so nicely. So, what's great about the coordinating dies is that you get dies that cut out all of the images. So you have this huge stack of pancakes, blueberries, strawberry, and bacon slices. And the blueberries and strawberries, if you wanted to make this look really dimensional, you can cut out a couple extra of those and just layer them on top and add some extra dimension to them. And the great thing about the dies is that the sentiments all have outline dies for them too. So you can cut out all of these sentiments as well. Where can we see the bacon card? Let's see. Well, I have tutorials, so my card itself, my bacon card my bacon card that I released a video of today, it's actually on my refrigerator. Because because my bacon card tutorial today is, I wrote out, "How do you like your bacon?" And then I colored up 7 strips of bacon from, like, varying degrees of doneness. So, like, just barely cooked to, like, nearly burnt. And then I numbered them 1 through 7. That was my card today. So that one you can see the tutorial on my channel, but the physical card is on my refrigerator. And then, for my hop video, I did that video released on the 7th, so just, a couple it's today's the 13th already? So about 5 days ago. That's a tutorial on my video on my channel as well, and with that one, I actually cut the pancakes and I turned them into like, instead of this size of a stack, I actually lowered it so that it was, like, this much pancakes and, like, that much bacon. I love crafting with this set. It was just so funny. I was so tickled the whole time coloring up all the bacon and, making huge stacks of pancakes and huge stacks of bacon. This is like a really fun set to to craft with. So, both of those videos my bacon cards are, video tutorials on my channel already. I did do a video tutorial of the card that I made, to prepare this live stream, so if you're looking for just, like, without the conversation, a little bit more straightforward, I think it's about, like, a 10-minute video because you saw how quickly or easily it is to put together, and then I always do my tutorial videos a little bit sped up, so this tutorial is not released yet, so just look for it on my channel if you want just the straight tutorial in a day or 2 or so. So that'll be separate, but this live stream is going to be available on replay, so if anyone is gonna, wants to go back and actually get the dimensions for everything and get the instructions for everything, you can always catch this live stream on the replay as well. So, oh, yes. Can you turn these into scratch and sniff cards? Or at least with free samples. Oh my gosh, that would be so cool if we had scratch and sniff and, you could do, like, bacon scent. Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome. I love that. Well, surprisingly, there are some people who don't like bacon. They don't live in my household. Oh, Lala, thank you so much for the super chat. You're so sweet, my friend. I appreciate the support. I love that though. Okay, so thanks so much, everybody, for hanging with me and checking out this pancake card. I hope you will give this a try. If you do, please do share on the Not Too Shabby Shop Facebook group. So if you are watching, whether you're watching live or on the replay, I hope I'll drop a link to the Not Too Shabby Shop group. So please do pop on over there. There's the link on screen now. And you can check out lots of different inspiration, not just from the Not Too Shabby Shop design team, but as well from the Not Too Shabby Shop fans who share their makes there. I've seen some really cool stuff there, so definitely join up and share your makes as well. So, thanks so much, and just wanna make sure I didn't miss any questions in the chat. I think I'm good. I'm getting him a package of bacon for his gifts. Debbie, if they don't like bacon, we can't be friends. Well, I kind of have a 3 strikes rule because, coffee, if you don't like coffee, it's okay because, Meg doesn't like coffee, not to call you out, Meg. But Meg does love bacon. So, I don't know what my 3rd strike is yet, but so long as you like one of those, I think it's good. Um, Okay, Rebecca, I missed the beginning, but I'll watch the replay. Okay, yeah, thanks, my friend. It's pretty easy to make this. So, all right, everybody. Oh, Elisa, there's a lot of caps there, my friend. No to coffee, but love bacon and pancakes. Um, yeah, see, I was telling Delise something very similar, Susan, because she loves bacon too, and I was like, "We can't go to breakfast together because then we'll just be fighting over the bacon all the whole time." Oh my gosh. Yes. I worked with somebody who didn't like bacon or chocolate. I didn't trust her. I don't blame you, Sarah. Oh, that's so funny. I guess that would be my 3rd strike. So it's gotta be coffee, bacon, or chocolate. You gotta like one of those. Oh man. Okay, folks, it's been super fun. I can't believe I landed this stream in an hour, probably my shortest. Stream, and this will be my last one, with the Not Too Shabby Shop. So, thanks so much for joining me on these Wednesday afternoon, evening streams. So, really enjoyed having this time hanging out with everybody, and I can't wait to see what you all make. So, do pop on over to the Not Too Shabby Shop and share your makes there. Bye, everybody. Have a good evening.